why I became a fighter or why I chose to be a fighter. And I always tell them I didn't choose it; it chose me. So
right, wow. And it's like Frank Mir says, that every 6 months you have a Super Bowl. Would you say that's a favorable comparison?
What was that?
Frank Mir, he had said that he compared like a fighter's schedule that every 6 months it's like having your own Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, once again, it's the same thing. I mean, this is my date. I know everything I have to do. I'm going to change my life, and I'm going to do everything around my life to make everything work perfect for this one date. And then when it works, it's great. But, yeah, people don't understand. I don't even think it's like the Super Bowl, because in the Super Bowl you have, you got your teammates and you got this and things happen. This is me and one other person going out there one-on-one, everybody in the world, tons of people watching, an unbelievable amount of pressure that people will never really understand about. It's not even about, people are saying, are you nervous? I'm not nervous I'm going to get hurt. People think I'm worried about getting hurt. That's never on our mind. Getting hurt is the last thing on my mind. I'm worried I'm going to go out there and not perform like I want to, like I know I can. That I'm going to go out there and disappoint not only myself, which is, the farthest thing from my concern, but I'm going to disappoint the people who helped me train, the people who got me there, my coaches, my family. I'm going to not make everybody proud of me and think, man, you just wasted all your time, not spending time with your family as much, not making as much money. Just a lot of failure and disappointment is what I was always nervous about. So there's a ton of pressure there. Yeah, you're going to be on a huge spotlight, and no matter what, I promise you, for the next month, everybody you see is going to talk to you about that fight. So, yeah, it is kind of like the Super Bowl in a way.
Right, definitely. And then that amazing submission that you had created over when you took on Matt Brown, it was one of the most creative submissions that you ever had put on somebody. Just speak on how you did that. It was the armbar and inverted triangle combination when you fought Matt Brown back in 2010.
It's something I just, it's funny how when you roll and you grapple a lot, you come up with certain ways you do certain things, and that was one of my moves. I'd always try and step over the head. I'm really flexible. I can step over that guy's head, and if I got my leg under his head and did that reverse triangle choke, well, then now his head's lifted up, and then he can't buck me off, he can't bridge, he can't get out and move. So then I got the guy trapped. So at some point I figured out, hey, if I do that, well, now I have two arms, and this guy has one arm, I can go for this arm bar as well. And it's kind of cool because at the gym sometimes I still get people in that move, and it's funny. Sometimes I can't get the arm bar, but I can get the triangle choke. Sometimes I can't get the triangle choke, I can get the arm bar. Sometimes I can get the triangle choke and the arm bar, and then they're in real bad trouble. But it's just, I got a couple other moves like that where I just work on them a lot, and I try and play around with it. Unfortunately, I never got to use a couple of them in competition, but I almost had, it was funny, earlier on that fight I had Matt Brown in a really creative submission, and the buzzer went off for the first period right at the end. I mean, if it hadn't been for that buzzer, I mean, I guarantee if there was, 2 more seconds left in that first round, I would have had him in a different armbar. Nobody really saw it coming, but it was a really slick submission that I really love to do, but didn't really get to show it. So I got a couple different things like that, and the more you grapple, the more you learn, the more things you can kind of get that are your own. And I know one of the guys at my gym, you'll probably see him in the UFC in about a year or two, but he has a real slick submission that, he kind of just made up, and I've been playing around with that and trying to make that a little better as well. But it's just part of the game. I was never a traditional jiu-jitsu student like a Grace. To be honest, I don't even own a gi, man. I just go in there and
I always wondered that about you.
Yeah. I mean, and that's why it was so hard for people to deal with, because they're used to jiu-jitsu. They're like, okay, his legs should go here, his arms should go here. And I would do the opposite, and they're like, what the hell is he doing? Why is he doing this? That's because I don't even know what proper jiu-jitsu technique is. I do my technique. And so when I do like that, it allows your mind to be creative and just come up with your own stuff. You're not kind of,
cookie cutter
you got told exactly what routine to follow. I make up my own routine.
Mm-hmm. Chris, I'm glad you brought that up, because I talk, and I've often said it, the streets don't care what color your belt is.
Exactly.
And to give I joke about a lot of stuff that I do, martial arts. But, there are great martial artists who even said this. I mean, ones that were predecessors to our predecessors. And literally, a belt does nothing but hold your gi closed or hold your pants up. And a lot of people think that just because you didn't do a traditional style of jiu-jitsu or any type of karate or whatever, that you don't know what you're doing. And I'm going to reflect back in the day, back in 2006, we was all up in the mix on the show. And you were rolling with Matt Serra. And I was laughing because everybody was like, dude, Matt Serra cannot pass Chris Lytle's guard. And I was laughing. I'm like, wow, that is giggity. Because, everybody has such a high regard for, I'm not knocking Matt personally or professionally, but a lot of people get caught up in the industry and the mindset just because I've been in the dojo, I got my cute little pajamas on with my cute little colored belt to hold my pajamas closed. I graduated to go doing an IBJJ or a Nago or a Grappler's Quest or whatever the hell else, whatever's out there. Yeah. And then I'm a champion and I'm tough because I do this and I've been doing this for years. And I tell people, it's almost cursed. I didn't. It's theory. There's dojo training, there's sport fighting, and then there's reality. There's the dojo, the ring or cage. Then there's competition. Then there's the street. But the thing that's higher than the streets is working in a prison. And I don't know about that. But I explain to people, I'm like, if a person has never experienced what it is to be for real with martial arts, it's theory. And you are actuality. We are actualists. We're realists. And I don't knock people who do katas because I'm trying to learn katas. But the thing is, nobody says, let me get my mouthpiece out and put on my groin cup and let's do this after I stretch and warm up. You just do it. I wasn't sure. And the weight division is for sport. And the thing is that you did things your way, as I do. And a lot of fighters nowadays are getting into that premise of, well, just because he doesn't do gi, he doesn't know his stuff. Chris, I joked about it being on the show. Being at a Naga tournament. Yeah. I literally took my leather pants off with my leather biker jacket and put my top hat down right at the mat and walked onto the mat. Said, come on, let's do this. And they were like, what weight division? I said, who cares? I said, let's make it fair. Put me in super heavyweight. Yeah. And they were like, are you serious? They said, well, have you trained for this? No. Yeah. I said, but I'm a martial artist. Yeah. And that's the beautiful thing about it. And people would say, well, say what they want. I placed second in super heavyweight and won the heavyweight division. But you also, it's not patting me on the back because I ain't worried about that. Dr. Moses Powell. Yeah.
Well, like you're saying, man, there's a lot to be said about that. And, just like anything else, they try and, I don't want to say commercialize it, but, if you stay this long, you're going to get this belt, and you're going to get this belt. And they get people to buy in on that, and that's cool. And but I do recognize there is some pure people who just love jiu-jitsu, good at jiu-jitsu, and that's a great thing too.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I just like to think that that's not really what I ever wanted to be. I didn't want to be a jiu-jitsu guy. I never went out and said I love jiu-jitsu. I said I want to be a fighter, and to be that, I think me not saying I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I'm not going to do jiu-jitsu. I'm not going to do Muay Thai. I tried to learn everything I could and take good parts out of it and get rid of bad parts. And then once I knew the basics, it was just about, time and me doing whatever my body wants to do. My creativeness can make me a better fighter in this way or that way. I don't need to be told how to do everything. You can show me stuff, and my body might be able to do it well, or it might not be. So I can take some stuff out, and I can throw some other stuff away, and I can make up my own stuff. And I think, that's what can make people really good in a way. Same thing with boxing, whatever. It can be really, I can appreciate it and find, that's beautiful when that guy did that. That's a beautiful move he did. I actually find the artistic side of that and think that's it's very impressive on many levels. So, I don't think you necessarily get that. You can be a great technician or tactician if you're doing the exact same, moves as everybody else, and you can be very technically sound. But, I can appreciate another aspect of that person, he used his mind and his time and his energy and his skill to create that move. That's awesome.
Awesome.
Well, there you have it, folks.
And Chris, what do you think of the shakeup in the welterweight division since you've been gone? George St. Pierre, he has left the sport for a year. We have a new welterweight champion, Johnny Hendricks. He's going to defend the belt again against ruthless Robbie Lawler this Saturday night. Any predictions you have for that upcoming welterweight title clash?
Man, I don't know. To be honest with you, Robbie Lawler's been really impressive lately. I really like what he's been doing, and I think I said when him and Matt Brown were getting ready to fight, those are probably two of my favorite guys to watch fight in this sport right now, because unfortunately a lot of this sport has become about, I'm going to win this decision. I'm going to hit this guy 3 times. He's going to hit me 2. I'm going to take him down and hold him or whatever, trying to win at all costs. And that's not what I like, and that's not what, Robbie Lawler, Matt Brown tend to do. They tend to go after each other and try and be relentless and take the other person out. So I really like the way they have been doing that. Thought the fight with those two was great. I really like the way Robbie Lawler, he just looks like he's been at it for so long. He knows exactly what he wants to do, and he's a veteran, man. I mean, isn't that weird showing that he's a veteran now? Remember back in the day when he's this young kid?
Man.
He's a veteran. So.
Hey, Chris, I was laughing when people were calling Uriah Faber old.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, really?
What's wrong in this world, man?
I can tell you who's old. And it ain't Uriah Faber.
Hey, Shonie, man, we can start to do the new fight club. You got to be over 40 years old, man. I'm 40.
Oh, wow.
We can do the 40 and over club, man. I don't know if I watch it, but it'd be fun.
I'm trying to get Pfizer to be a sponsor for my next 2 fights in Geritol.
There it is.
I think it should. I think they should. Okay, let's keep it 100. Another 100 moment. Shannon Rich is 44 that I'm fighting.
Oh, nice.
I'm 42.
There you go.
80. What is that? 86 years of fighting of athletes in one cage.
And long record, too.
Yeah. Dude, hey, Chris, I found somebody who got more fights than me. Oh, my God.
You're not going to be the experienced veteran this time, man.
That's crazy. Shannon Rich is 53 and 77.
Wow.
Jesus, man.
Right. And literally, we all know about Travis Fulton. We know about Dan Severn and Jeremy Horn.
Yeah.
But I did not know that there was anybody that I would ever walk into a fight who has more fights than me.
Wow.
And I mean, there are guys who have a lot of fights, but I mean, I've got the most different type of fights than anybody. But to say somebody who has more MMA fights than me and they ain't going to be fighting me, who's older than me, I'm like, really? And then I never thought I would ever be able to say I'm competing in a day of age where I would see journeyman.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. Absolutely.
Well, you can call him, you can actually be like, well, I got to respect my elders and let him go first. You can make all kinds of jokes on this fight, man.
He already got a commercial. Oh, my goodness. Wow. This jabroni got a commercial. I'm like, oh, Lord.
Nice.
Yeah, he talked his way into this fight, and I'm like, oh, Lord.
Hey, be careful what you ask for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why I giggled. I said, you know how much you got to talk for me not to be saying something?
Yeah.
I said, I ain't said nothing. I just been working out.
Chris,
yeah, exactly.
Chris, it's been a pleasure having you on the Fight Report. Is there anything you'd like to say to your fans?
Hey, just thanks for supporting me. Thanks for continuing to listen to me ramble on about nothing. And if you have any more questions, man, like I said, I'm here. You got any more questions? Come on, another Twitter question. I don't care. I like to talk about this stuff. So, that's awesome. About it. It's just happy people still like paying attention to the sport, pay attention to what I'm doing, and anything we can do to help promote the sport and help let people know that these are some of the best athletes in the world. And we're not mindless idiots and Neanderthals like a lot of people think. Just do what we can to keep letting people know. We got people like Mr. Carter right there, being smart and articulate. He's looking up new words, making me sound good.
I'm telling you, I'm trying to hold the front.
And he's got another fight in Kansas City. You think he might come out for that one?
Yeah, I'm fighting Rob Kimmons for Shamrock FC.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm doing that. I suppose I'm supposed to be in Star Trek Equinox.
Oh, hold on, man. I might be in there, too. You talked to Eric?
Yeah, of course I did.
Oh, wow.
Of course I did.
Are you going to be a Klingon? I'm going to be something in there, man.
Yeah, you ain't no Klingon. I don't even need the makeup. Just put some lumps on my head. You ain't got to turn me brown. I got that part. I got the voice.